So what is technology strategy? Well, there's a couple ways that you can look at technology strategy. One is the old-fashioned way of saying, hey, technology strategy is how often we replace our hardware and upgrade our software, and we need to replace computers and servers every 4 years or so, and say, hey, that's a technology strategy. Well, that's not a great technology strategy, and it's not going to lead to great results. What real technology strategy is looking at your technology against a set of best practices standards, and looking at your technology and seeing where it's out of alignment with those best practices standards and measuring the business impact of those misalignments. When you do that, then you start looking at bigger business outcomes. You start looking at how do we drive higher productivity? How do we improve employee morale? How do we reduce risk in our business? How do we have big impact for technology strategy? So let me explain a little bit further. First, you have to have a set of really strong best practices standards. We think there need to be hundreds of them. Let me give you an example of how this applies to a couple different businesses. Let's take Business A. Business A relies really heavily on wireless technology. They're a school. They have hundreds of students coming to their campus connecting to their IT infrastructure through wireless. If wireless isn't working, that's a big problem for their business. It's embarrassing, it stops classes from running, it causes all sorts of problems. So if you review against their wireless infrastructure and say they're out of alignment with best practices standards from a wireless perspective, that's a big deal. That's a big business impact. Business B, on the other hand, has maybe one wireless access point. Somebody comes into their boardroom once or twice a month, uses their guest Wi-Fi, and them being out of alignment with wireless best practices, not as big of a deal. They're less likely going to invest more money in rectifying that misalignment from a wireless best practices standard. That's how you drive much better technology strategy. You have to take a set of really good best practices standards, review regularly in a disciplined way to see, are you in alignment with those best practices standards or are you out of alignment? And then when you're out of alignment, is there a big business impact? Is it make sense to make addressing that misalignment a big priority? Or does it not make sense? And should you focus your money and your technology strategy elsewhere? So ask yourself these 3 questions. Do you have a technology strategy? Is it really basic and obvious stuff like just replacing hardware and upgrading software? Or is your technology strategy based on big important business outcomes like improving productivity, improving employee morale, driving down business risk? That's intelligent technology. If you're not so sure about your overall technology strategy, please reach out, give us a call. We'll give you a different perspective on what some companies are doing to really raise their game on the technology strategy front.